Hello, I am Fireflower Tarot. Nice to meet anybody that comes upon this video. I'm going to basically use some stones on my divination board to come up with what the sun, moon, and rising sign for who I will read collectively is today. I will pull a little melody for you, which you'll see shortly, and then I'll do my tarot spread. I only really like to do tarot with 8 cards, because I notice if I try to read more, I start getting all thrown off. I think for me, Spirit likes to communicate very concisely, which sounds like me in general. I tend to overanalyze and overthink, so okay, so for sun, let's do the yellow. For moon, let's do the blue, and for rising, I'll do this orange. Let's see what we get. Oh, let's see, it's Taurus for rising. Libra for sun, and we have Pisces for moon. Okay, just clean these ashes really quick. I also have to make sure I speak up. I tend to mumble. Okay, so I'm going to do a reading for Libra sun, Pisces moon, Taurus rising signs. Okay. Let me move my divination board out of the way. Just a minute to get set up here. I'm good with the tarot, but to be honest, I'm not super versed in astrology yet, so I'm just taking out, I do have an astrology deck though. I'm just taking out my cards for those signs to get refreshed on the energy. I am a Pisces moon, so at least I know what that feels like. But I do not have Libra or Taurus in my chart. But I like Tauruses, so I know what that's like at least. So, just because I like to look at these, get refreshed. I'm more of a tarot than an astrology person, but one of these days I will do a deep dive. So Libra, sign of consideration, fairness, and harmony. Pisces, a sign of intimacy, intuition, and compassion. And Taurus, a sign of trust, patience, and sensuality. Okay, so we got air, water, and earth, I believe. Yes, air, water, and earth. That's an interesting mix. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these behind candles. All right, so now let me see what decks I feel called to using. I'm a little bit slow going. That's kind of how I talk in general too. Like, I really have to process my feelings, and it takes me a while sometimes. What am I feeling? So I usually pick up to 8 decks for 8 cards. I don't have to use all 8 decks. Or I could use 1 deck if I want, but let me see. Feeling this oracle deck, feeling this tarot deck, this tarot deck, yeah, okay. got a mixture there. I had to feel out what exactly I needed. Okay, let's see. A lot of nature type ones, so maybe somehow getting in touch with the earth energy there. I also like to pull how many times I shuffle the cards. I do take cards that fall out sometimes, but I have to like feel exactly how I want to do it. So let's just see what we get here. 9, 8, 2, 8, and this one's 2. Okay. This might take a little while then. Okay, let's shuffle these first. Sorry, it's a long, protracted process for me, but the actual read is a little bit short. So let's move these out of the way. Just kind of helps me get into the energy too. Okay, this is for Libra Sun, Pisces Moon, Taurus Rising. Thank God. Sometimes this takes so long. 1, 2, okay, 8, 2, oh, I blew out a candle. 4, 2. See, I when I first took out this deck, I had it upside down by accident, and the world was on there. And I know it might look upside down to you. Oh, I'll flip the recording afterwards, but it's upright to me. And seeing it again, even after I shuffled it one time, maybe there's a sense of something coming to a completion that this reading is going to be about. So I'll keep that in mind. Let's see. For the tarot, let's do, I'm just intuitively feeling to do a card, 2 cards from here, and then I'll wait for the clarifiers. I use the oracles usually on the second part of the spread to clarify, so let me wait for those. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw from here. 4 of Wands reversed, Death, 10 of Swords, Ace of Wands. Okay. Let's see what I'm feeling here. Oh, crap. I don't know why. I feel like this is one that's come for here. The Fool. Okay. Let's see if anything else. Okay. Okay. 4 of Wands. It's usually like a marriage card, like some big community celebration coming together. Typically seen as like a marriage card. You might be able to see, it's in reverse, so I will remember that, but you might be able to see, sorry for the light, got like a family of sloths, I think, on these cards. And they're all hanging out together happily with like musical instruments, and you even see this one with like a little baby sloth, so this one too, but it has a sense of like a family being together, and it's reversed with the Death card, which signifies a change. It's a major arcana, so this is, and this that came out to clarify it is also a major arcana, so this is the most important part of this reading. Also from this deck, that World card that I mentioned, Death being a change, the Fool in this sense giving me the feeling of starting over, or starting from zero. This is the first card of the major arcana, and the World card being a completion too. I almost feel like this, I hate to say it, but this sounds like a family breaking apart, like a divorce and a family breaking apart, like maybe there are kids involved too, which really sucks. But to recognize, so the major arcana cards, if you're not familiar with tarot, almost like a regular deck of cards, has like 4 different suits. Wands, swords, you didn't get it so far, or you didn't get it in your reading, but it's not cups, but it can also be cups or pentacles. Pentacles just means coins, but they all refer to different elements of life, but they have, aside from a regular deck of cards, they also have an extra suit, which is called the major arcana, and whenever they show up, aside from one of those other 4 suits, they're like the most, they signify like critical points of the life journey. So that's why I said this is what you have to focus on the most. But that being the case, yes, it's a big, a huge important change right here, this change, this breakdown of a family. But also, since the Fool came out, and the Fool represents like naivete, spontaneity, a beginning, starting new, it's kind of, and because it's also major arcana, like there could be other cards that can represent similar things, but the fact that the Fool came out, I know this is like, I just get the sense this is a very negative change going on, but to kind of see how like the sun is shining behind this like gallivanting person and his little dog down here. I don't know if you can see that. He's got like a little dog that's also dancing too. I feel like there's gonna be negative emotions here no matter what, but that can't be everything. Kind of like how the deck just kind of like fell over, and this was like the one that felt pointed coming out to me. Even when everything is toppling over like that, you kind of need to also jump up and hold on to what you can do to sort of find some type of joy to walk in the flowers throughout the madness, because that's kind of life altogether, right? Like, we're all in a dark cave trying to find the entrance where the light shines, and it's an adventure. Not to say that that's all enjoyable, because this breakdown of a family does not sound enjoyable. I almost get the sense like maybe you're not the person being divorced, but maybe you are a child of somebody being divorced. Like, you are feeling affected by what's going on with your parents or something like that. But kind of to hold on to a little bit of a sense of believing. It's like you can get so jaded from this, which is totally understandable. But to also, at the same time of sort of like being roughened up by those hard things in life, to not let go of, and to find other new ways to feel new and retain a sense of innocence and joy. And I noticed this too, he's holding a flower, like from so the world that came out, again, that other card that I mentioned, it means completion, and it's the last card of the major arcana. It means like the summation of a life's journey of events, and coming from that back to the Fool, it's like when one flower withers, think about how another flower sprouts from the seed that those changes left behind. So might sound, I don't know, patronizing or something, but you need to think about silver linings and the peace that will come after the storm. So yes, a storm has to roll through, but it's going to water some flowers and perhaps blow some, that sounds rather violent, but like perhaps there are some things built on shaky foundation that are going to just have to come down, but it's going to clear the area and leave the land open for new things to build. So I don't want to invalidate you that this is going to suck, but you have to keep your eye on how things can start anew in a lighter way. So, okay, moving forward. This again just goes back to this Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords, which is like a some sort of major defeat. Swords. So Wands is the suit of like desires, passions, goals, aspirations. And Swords is the suit of logic, thought, wisdom, intellect, and communication. This Ten of Swords card has like, it looks almost, somebody's hugging their dog very emotionally. I almost get a feeling of like remembrance from this. And then this dog has 10 swords in its back. I don't know why this card is making me think of like I think I know why. My dog might, we're still trying to verify, but I don't mean to put my energy on this, but, you know, to relate as another person that might be going through things. Again, I'm not a Libra sun, Pisces moon, or Taurus rising. I am a Pisces moon, but I'm not that combination of Libra sun, Pisces moon, Taurus rising. But maybe from my Pisces moon, I'm also feeling that emotion of that bond that I have with my dog, and my dog is older and he may be getting sick. So this dog tarot deck is always it's something for me that loves dogs. But okay, relating this back to this, let me clear. It's making me think of a passing. I know that might be my own energy, but if I'm going back to this, I mean, if that's where it connects. I don't know if your family, I mean, because this card doesn't look, the Four of Wands typically, again, like I said, it has to do with like family union, celebration, which is why it's read as a marriage card a lot, but that's not the feeling that I'm getting. And like all these little sloths like hanging out together, it seems like a family in a broader sense. Um, it's, I don't get the sense it's your dog or anything, but, and maybe this won't ring true for everybody, but I get a sense maybe somebody is dealing, it it could be that somebody's dealing with somebody passing away, and that is the change. I don't know. Yeah, the kind of grief that I'm feeling from this breakdown of a family too. Almost as if somebody's parent might be passing away. Oh, that's tough. Yeah. I'm sorry. And the following card is Ace of Wands. So again, Wands has to do with like motivation, inspiration, dreams, goals, aspirations, things that we want, things that are ardent and fiery in our hearts. It's the Wands represent the fire element. Swords also represent air, so yeah, I get this feeling of like a soul going forward in the breeze. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So for Ace of Wands, and really, I don't like, I don't like reading health related things at all. And that's not how I read. Death just means the change card. It just means change. This is actually the first time, astoundingly, that I feel to read death as in somebody actually passing. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. This is the first time I have ever actually read it more, and I didn't even realize I was reading the death of that until I'm connecting it with these things. So I'm. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm so sorry. Ace of Wands. Again, like in a suit of a deck of regular cards, the suits go from Ace to 10, and then you have like the Royal Court above it. So Ace is going to be like the first card. So the first card for any of the suits is going to represent like a burst of a new form of that element. And Ace of Wands is like a burst of fire, which can represent like new inspiration, like newly driven desires, like an activation of your motivation all of a sudden, a breakthrough of motivation, that type of thing. And this to me is connecting with the Fool. So again, there seems to be a very like tumultuous, sad change full of grief that will be happening to you that is related to family breaking down and a feeling of defeat and loss. The 10 again, from Ace to 10, and then the Royal Court 10 symbolizes completion. So there's a closing out of something here in your heart, in your mind, with the Wands, which is fire, and kind of like the ardent part of your heart. Not necessarily the emotions, but like your desires and your mind, your communication, which is swords, the wind energy, that air energy. So kind of this feeling of like not being able to talk to somebody anymore. So again, maybe that passing doesn't necessarily reflect with everybody, because I wasn't feeling that at first, but then that feeling came on as I was reaching this card. But maybe for some of you, it's just some type of situation where you know you're not going to ever be able to talk to somebody again, which is heavy, no matter what that is. So just know there's this feeling of like it's sad no matter what, but that you may be on a path of being able to accept this change and taking it to inspire you and move you forward to new things. Maybe this sad thing is going to inspire you it's going to inspire you to make something new, especially with these wands. It may drive a sense of creativity in you, maybe to reflect learnings in this passing or complete cutoff, to kind of, even if you can't talk with this person anymore, to kind of put your heart forward through a new craft. Fire can have a lot to do with creativity, so. Alright, I feel like I should clarify now. Okay. Yeah. And I don't read oracle cards in reverse. I always read them upright. So you have stars, which means navigation. Waterfall, which means persistence. Abundance. Trust. Okay. I don't know why this is so sad. This is like sad to me for a New Year's reading. Oh, I should have clarified. It's like my mind, I said it's like, let me figure out the sign, sun, moon, rising, and this will be like a January reading. So this is like, yeah, it's like New Year's going into January reading for this combination of Libra sun, Pisces moon, Taurus rising. Yeah, oh man, this is so sad for me. The sense, oh my god. Whether this is a literal death or not, I'm sorry, I've never read for like a death. Sorry, that's just how it's feeling to me. Whether it's a literal death or not, it may be for some of you it is, and for some of you it's not, but it is some sort of like relational death that there's just like no coming back from. But okay, for the Four of Wands, it's Four of Wands reverse. It's clarified by stars, which means navigation. In which case, I have a sense that, like, unfortunately, you're being guided to this fact that this union has to separate. You can't avoid it. The universe is bringing you there. But to know that we're all exactly where we need to be. So for everything that sucks in life, that we have to go through these periods full of grief, like, there's purpose in it. The stars will align in one way or another, and it's like all of us journeying through the metaphorical mountain peaks and valleys of life, like, to get to a subsequent peak, sometimes the only thing that you can do is go down the valley and tread through the river and then walk out the other side with your clothes drenching in the cold, start a fire, catch something to eat, and then walk back up the other side. So it's kind of like you have to go through this valley right now, and I'm sorry about that, but it is the journey that we make in this crazy thing called life, and it has purpose. And again, with this breakdown of family, we have 3 and 7 here, which is 10, which signals completion. So the universe is guiding you towards this completion of this union that is happening. So okay, waterfall, persistence. With the death card, with the Fool, and with the waterfall, it's kind of like, if you look at the death card, it's a man going forward on his horse. you're kind of trotting. You have to move forward. The change has to happen. And I feel like the persistence almost clarifies the Fool. Like for you to accept and move through the valley and undergo this change, you cannot stop flowing. Water represents your emotion. Water, I mean, all the elements are spiritual, but water may represent spirituality in maybe a more traditional sense of like the energy that flows through all of us, if that makes sense. So don't stagnate when this change is happening. Of course, you're human, you know, like you can hurt and you can have that time, but make sure you don't just stop. You have to keep going. The waterfall may be blocked by a rock, but the water kept flowing until it flowed over that rock and eroded that rock and then created a beautiful scenery going down the mountain for anybody who ever walks after it overcame those obstacles. So, you know, you're human, you're reaching that wall. Your water has an obstacle, it has a dam going on with this change, but you need to persist. You need to flow, and it will create a new start. Just don't stop, okay? I have to be honest, this gives me a sense of like, this is my first reading. It's very heavy. I'm sorry. I'm not complaining. It's just like, wow, was not expecting this. The waterfall coming up with this gives me the sense that like whatever this change is, if it's somebody going through a passing especially, but I mean not necessarily especially like if it was a divorce or if it was any other type of familial breakdown, but like a divorce of your parents or a death, yeah. I just get this sense that some of you may be really tired of being here at the point that this happens. You, like I said, it's a journey that we were walking these like spiritual hills and valleys together, and it really sucks. I'm not taking that away from you at all. I don't want to invalidate that at all. That pain is so fucking real. Please don't give up. Look at how beautiful this waterfall is. Look at that. Look at everything it had to leap over and push through to make what it is. Okay? The light is reflecting. I gotta fix that, but maybe I don't have the best resolution camera. But nevertheless, if you think of a beautiful waterfall, you can go on Google, look up pictures of waterfalls, get inspired. Think about what that represents. The water didn't just stop and form a dirty puddle. It found a place to go. All of that emotion flowing didn't just stop. It couldn't just stop. It had to keep going. And it slowly but surely eroded a rock, or, you know, had enough momentum and volume to push over an edge, and it created something beautiful. So don't just stop and become this like algae, bacteria infested pond of water. Be like the waterfall and keep going. You're going to make it somewhere, and you're going to make beauty in that process, okay? I believe in you. I'm so sorry that you have to go through this, but Ten of Swords, being linked with abundance. This gave me the sense of like whatever you are saying goodbye to, whatever's ending painfully for you here. Kind of also like with the way that she's like hugging her dog. There's this like a somber sense of remembrance, but also there's like this sense of happiness. She's like, she is smiling. They're both smiling. Look at them. It's kind of like whatever you have to say goodbye to, getting a sense of peace, being grateful for everything that you got to enjoy, especially if this is a passing, like, it only hurts so much because you got so much love and so many good things out of this. Whether it's your parents' union that's breaking down, like you enjoyed their beautiful relationship for so long. If it's somebody that you love that is passing, you guys exchanged so much love and had so many adventures together, like. And that's one thing to think about, trying to persist through this change too. The only reason it hurts is because you got so much love out of that. And to honor that love and that abundance that you got from these other souls. Like, this is something that you can share. All the love that they gave you that is pouring over like a waterfall too. It's got to keep flowing. It's got to keep flowing. It only sucks to say goodbye because we're so grateful that we have the chance to say hello. So hold on to that. Gratitude is one of the things that really pulls all these mysterious things of life together. And I think that that is what this Ace of Wands is. Again, like with the Fool, this sense of like inspiration going forward. The trust. For me, this is a very spiritual message here. To have faith. It's not just darkness. Yes, there is darkness, especially if not selectively on this plane that we're in right now, that we have to experience these things. But there is light. It's not just darkness. There is light. And to remember that, remember why this hurts is because of that light, because you love their light so much. But that just means that that light is within you and you have that light to give too. Keep pouring it forward. It's kind of like where we're all guided. It's like stars in this strange, what looks like a dark universe around it, but we're really lighting it up. Like, these kind of look like stars in a way too. These little points in here. You just trust in that light, have faith. I mean, even look at this, it looks like a Venn diagram. Like, there's some darkness, there's some light, but there's a shared space in between where our heart resides. That's where we are right now, type of thing. Like, we're in this weird quasi zone with a mixture of light and dark and yin and yang, that type of thing. But it's not just the darkness, you know, there's the light. And these things contrast in things like this. In deaths, these things contrast. But the contrast only serves also to really bring out that light even more. So trust in that and hold on to this gratitude together. I think that's the most important thing. Okay, so that will be the tarot reading. Let me put these cards away. I'm going to give you a melody to keep with you, to kind of meditate on as you go forward with these energies. I guess I'll do this first. Okay. So there's only 8 keys on this steel drum that I have. So if it's greater than 8, I'll subtract, or I'll figure out the number another way. But okay, let's take these out. And if it's 0, I don't play the note. Okay. It's 9, but we'll make that a 6. 7. 6. This is 1, 3, 3, 6. A lot of 6s. 4. 3 and 3 make 6 too. So what is that about? It's almost like, let's see, what do the 6 cards have to do with? You have to, so 6 of Wands is a success. 6 of Cups is nostalgia. 6 of Pentacles is give and take. 6 of, which one am I missing? 6 of Swords is moving on from, like a transition, basically. I forget what 6 is in the major arcana, though. Give me a minute. Now I'm curious. I want to look for this. Give me a second. Is it this? No, that's, looks like 4. This might take me a minute, but I feel like I should do this. 6 of Lovers? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, so some 6s have to do with the past or moving on from it. 6 of Cups, which is nostalgia. 6 of Swords, which is a transition forward. Some have to do with balance. Well, I don't know. 6 of Wands is kind of like both of those. 6 of Wands is like a victory, which kind of has to do with like the past in a way, because like the thing that you're victorious over, and also transitioning forward. And 6 of Pentacles is give and take, which is kind of like, it's kind of more of a balance card, but, and the Lovers, that bond between 2 people, which is also balance. So I don't know if that's like a message for you of, this reading had to do with losing a connection with somebody, for sure. Regardless of how that exactly might be, there's going to be a loss of connection with somebody very important and close to you, like close like family. So there's a sense of like, I guess, feeling the balance of that connection, like that shared bond and that love given and received from both of you guys. Again, like that abundance to be grateful for, but also that sense of the having to move forward from that might be coming from these 6s as well. So okay, let's go ahead and do this. Alright, thank you very much. I am Fireflower Tarot. And despite how difficult this time might be for you, I hope you can meditate on this feeling and go forward in peace. And I will play it one more time for that, and then I'll just go ahead and end the video. So thank you very much for visiting and giving me a chance to share in spirit with you. So.